Welcome to the Hugsy Arts channel, guys. So today I'm going in without a plan. I want to practice to get looser with my painting and my line art, and I'm pretty much just freestyling today. So I'm just going to be doing some sort of abstract shapes. I don't even know what's going to come out. There's absolutely no plan whatsoever. I'm just letting the pen do what it wants, and then with the colours, banging down any old vibrant colours, and I'm just going to see what we end up with. So I'm using the Tachikawa or Tachikawa dip pen with the zebra G nib, and I'm going to be using some carbon black ink. So yeah, it's all to do with my watercolour journey, and I mean, I really want to get looser, crazier, more expressive, and it's quite tough when you're drawing stiff square buildings and trying to keep them in perspective and stuff like that. So I'm just going to try this, and hopefully it helps me sort of loosen up and break free and not be so careful with the lines, etc. I don't even know if this is a thing. You know, nobody's given me advice to try this. I'm just I just fancy trying it. I just got a feeling it's going to help me loosen up a bit. So let's get my ink by there. Wait till you stop wobbling, because I just knocked you. Okay, so dippy dip and off we go. I do like the zebra G nib. It's nice, it's flexible. You can be very precise with it though. And I'm not sure that's a good thing when you think that I am after being looser. So I have to say, I think a more flexy nib would be better suited to me. But there we go. It's still very nice. You've got so much control over this nib. I think what I would like, I do like the thinness of the lines you can get. I just want a bit more flex so I can get thicker, even thicker lines, you know? In terms of what I'm doing here, not a clue. It's not just the line work I'm trying to loosen up with, it's the paint as well. To find myself, even though I'm trying to be loose, I find myself carefully colouring in every single detail to the line, you know. And I want to try and break free of that as well. So I thought some little abstracty mess. Thought it might help get me used to the zebra pen as well, the thickness and thinness. Try some different. I've knocked you again, I do apologise. Not ideal. Let's try some different grips with the pen as well, just see if I can get any, you know, better results. I think like that you can achieve better curves when you're holding it like a claw grip, they call it. So if you're after curves, I suppose that feels better for me. I think the one you want to avoid is going down where this grip is, going down low. You get too much control there, and if you're trying to loosen up, then that's not what you want. So if anything, you want to hold it right at the end and try and be as free as you can. You want to lose some of that control. Quite good enough. I think you can get better thickness with the claw grip. I've just realised. So that's interesting. There you go. So there's a plus side to doing this already. I've learned that if you want the real thick lines, go for the claw grip. Thin lines are really not a problem with this G-nib, because you can really, you know, it's quite stiff, so you can be really precise with your really thin lines. Sorry, I've knocked you again. Do apologise. I do quite like this claw grip for this pen actually. Let's see if we can get some flicks going on, shall we? Not so much. Not so much. Hoping for better than that. Anyway, like I said, there was no plan, and I'm just going to call that done. And I'm just going to put some paint on now and try and be as expressive as possible in the same sort of way, just sort of disrespecting the lines, so to speak. So join me in that part. Just let this ink dry. Welcome back, guys. So I've had to take the hairdryer to the ink to give it a good dry, because some of the thicker parts were really not soaking in. I mean, this is thick paper. You know, it's quite coarse. I mean, it's supposed to be hot pressed, but it's so textured, it's like a cold press, and that ink just wasn't absorbing. So that's a food for thought. Every line width, you know, and technique, bear in mind, make sure your ink is dry. You can tell this by just making sure it's not shining. If it's shining under a light, it's still wet, and it's gonna it's gonna merge and ruin your picture. So I've had to take the hairdryer to it, and now I'm ready to just add some paint. And I want to do the same thing, just loose, crazy, no plan, except maybe colour choices, but not particularly sticking to any shapes. I mean, there's no real shapes there. It's just a complete random sort of mess, but I just really enjoyed it, and I want to do another one as well straight after this. So let's start with some blues. So I've got a bit of lavender, a bit of Van Gogh lavender, a bit of cerulean. Let's see how that looks. A bit too much water going on there. Yeah, that cerulean with the lavender is really nice. It's a nice wet mix as well. You know, I don't want to go too rich at this point. Just a loose wash in some areas. Just adding a bit of ultramarine into my mix. So you've got to think, now I'm adding more paint into my mix in the same palette, I'm actually thickening it. So this is where you need to be a bit careful for things like the unwanted blooms, you know, which can spoil pictures. But you only get them if you add the water to a more consistent mix. So keep it in mind, never go thinner, especially if you're working wet on wet. Just keep going darker and darker here with this blue. I don't really have a plan still, I'm just freestyling, I suppose. Because I'm adding lots of extra paint to my mix, it's getting thicker and thicker. So you'll see that I'm not getting those ugly blooms, which could really not look good. Darkness in some places. Alright, I'll do for blue. Let's clean the brush. Let's get some warm colours in. I'm going to start with a bit of yellow. So it's just cadmium yellow and a bit of cadmium orange. Really wet for the first wash. Now it's no secret that orange and blue sit nice together, they're complementary colours, so you can never go wrong using complementary colours. Adding a bit more orange to the mixture now, so it gets even warmer. Some splatteroonies, which is not really working because it's not quite wet enough now. Adding a bit of cadmium red into my mix, so as we're going richer and deeper. And now we're sort of borderline pushing red. I'm happy with that. That'll do for the oranges, I think. Give the brush a little clean. Bring some crazy colours in. So I want to bring some Elysian Crimson into my blue mix. So we get kind of a purple. A bit more water. Yeah, so I brought Elysian Crimson into my original blue mix and I add a bit of that. It needs to be a bit careful here because I don't really want to touch any of my existing paint yet, because it's going to be, we're going to be having those blooms we spoke about. That's why I also haven't gone as wet, just in case. So I can't do the splats. That'll do for green, and that'll do for the purple. And I'm just going to bring in now some Vividian green, which is a beautiful colour, very powerful though, and I would use it in moderation. Now this is going to be wet. I need to be really careful of not going into my not yet dried paint. I usually get decent splatters off this. I think it's because this is my biggest mop brush. It's the size 6, genuine squirrel hair. It sucks up that much paint. It's quite hard to get it back off. Ultramarine blue into my Vividian now. Got a lovely like turquoise teal colour coming on. Some lifting techniques to try and blend some of these colours with a dry brush, just sort of blending through in some areas. And I think that'll do. I haven't actually signed it. I sign everything, even my sketches, so I'll sign this too. I think it looks quite cool. I'm going to give it a little hair dry, just so I can show you the finished version. Yeah, I think that's a good exercise, and I would recommend it for loosening up if you're a bit stiff with your art and it's all a bit boring and lifeless. I definitely recommend trying exercises to loosen up. You know, just seeing if you can break free of your normal habits. I just want to pop some yellows in. I don't know why. It's just called me. I'm quite happy with that. Let me try and give you a better view. There's the paint palette. And there's the abstracty finished picture. I think it looks quite cool. Anyway, I'm going to try more of these, and I'll let you know how I get on. So thanks for watching.